But big breaking news coming from the Supreme Court. Yes, I can now break for our viewers that the counsel for Hadiya has asked for an in-camera hearing. He doesn't want an open court hearing because Hadiya, who was known as Akhila Ashokan earlier, is now going to be deposing before the Supreme Court. The NIA has also made a very big revelation, saying they have evidence to prove that Hadiya's husband, Shafeen Jahan, is an ISIS recruiter. Let's go across to editor Niranjan with the latest. Niranjan, significant developments taking place in the Supreme Court this afternoon.
Well, Rhythm and Nalini are inside the courtroom as we speak. Our legal team is inside the courtroom, and I can tell you, Parikshit, that as of now, there's been a big claim made by the NIA. Essentially, it all started with the counsel for Hadiya's father asking for in-camera proceedings. The family also alleging the role of Popular Front of India, the PFI, in the recruitment for ISIS. And there's a big development. The counsel has alleged that the NIA has arrested a person for recruitment for ISIS who's Shafeen Jahan. Shafeen Jahan is Hadiya's husband. Now, the claim being made here is that Shafeen Jahan, who is Hadiya's husband, is linked to ISIS, and that he was directly in touch with people who are recruiting for ISIS. So that's a big claim that's been made in court. NIA counsel has alleged that NIA has found extremely critical factual findings that will completely demolish this so-called marriage. Now, these are observations inside court. These are developments that are happening as we speak. And we're getting you live updates of what's happening inside court. Essentially, the NIA has made an argument saying that Shafeen Jahan, who's Hadiya's husband, could be an ISIS recruiter. So this could have big ramifications. We will have to wait and watch whether he's directly in touch with ISIS or whether he's in touch with people who are recruiting for ISIS. But essentially, in the love or love jihad debate, this becomes more crucial. We'll have to wait and watch whether NIA has proof of Shafeen Jahan, who's Hadiya's husband, being an ISIS recruiter.
Right, and this is not wholly surprising that the parents have asked for an in-camera hearing. They don't want her to depose before the open court. But what Hadiya says today in court, Niranjan, could really turn things around.
Well, absolutely. If you look at what Hadiya has been saying, from the time she left Kerala to the time she landed in Delhi, and from when she's been moving from one place to another, from Delhi to the courtroom, now she's been essentially trying to speak to the media in bits and pieces. She's been trying to make her point, and she has been saying that this was not a forced marriage. It was not a forced marriage, and that she had married out of will. So she is debunking the NIA. So it's one girl, that's Hadiya, fighting the NIA, saying that she's married out of love, and it's not a case of love jihad. Now, these are details that are pouring in. I can tell you that this could have a big ramification. This could have a the way in which the debate goes from here will change, because NIA claims critical evidence in court saying that they know for sure that Hadiya's husband is an ISIS recruiter and that he's directly linked to ISIS. Now, what this proof is, what the evidence is, or whether they've already shown it in court, we don't know, but I can tell you that NIA has claimed that critical evidence is with them, and that he was in touch on social media with a few people who are recruiting for ISIS. In fact, there's a very key claim that's being made by the family of Hadiya, saying that the role of PFI is also there in Hadiya's husband recruiting for ISIS. And he's also said, and I quote, that Hadiya's husband was interacting with a person on a social media site asking, "How much money will I get for becoming a recruiter?" Now, these are observations we're getting from inside court. Hadiya's husband, Shafeen Jahan, asked somebody on a website, this is supposedly an ISIS recruiter, how much money will I get for becoming an ISIS recruiter? Now, these are details that we're getting from inside court. We are still awaiting more details. But interesting turn of events. Remember, Hadiya, when the story broke in I think it was way back in June or July, and we had also gone to Hadiya and we had got videos from inside her house, where she claimed, in fact, the family had, her claim was that she was being tortured while being kept by her family. She's been maintaining throughout that it was a marriage that was born out of love, and she was never coerced into it. But now if the NIA says that this is a case of love jihad, and they've been saying that, but if they say that they have proof to show that her husband is an ISIS recruiter, there's an angle that's never come out before. Now, if there is proof, then this changes the context of the case.
Yes, and significantly, Hadiya, because she's above 18, when she was arriving at the airport, she told press persons that she married out of her own will. She wasn't forced. She is a Muslim and she wants to be with her husband. So that was a very strong comment from Hadiya. But Niranjan, do you get a sense that the father of Hadiya could also tell court that there is a question mark on her physical and mental well-being?
Well, that's what she has been maintaining, and I can tell you that as far as the family is concerned, the father has been claiming that the daughter has been mentally unstable. Now, that was one of the stand that the family has taken, and that's one of the arguments, that she's been brainwashed and that she has been mentally kidnapped and she's, to an extent, mentally unstable. That's what the family, in fact, this morning has said, that she is mentally unstable. But none of those arguments have come up in court so far. What we know is that Hadiya's father, in fact, while asking for an in-camera proceeding, also alleged the role of the Popular Front of India in recruitment for ISIS. So they're drawing a PFI-ISIS link. While alleging that and I think what the NIA said becomes all the more important. We'll try and get more reactions to this. But the NIA claiming, rather linking Hadiya's husband Shafin Jaha to ISIS. This is a big update. I'm handing it back to you.
All right, Niranjan, they're getting us the big details that are coming from the Supreme Court right now. Nalini, our legal correspondent, breaking this first on Republic. Nalini saying that her father has asked for an in-camera proceeding. Essentially, this means that you will only have lawyers for both the sides. You won't have press persons in the court, and this could even be in the judge's chamber. The father has also alleged the role of the Popular Front of India in the recruitment for ISIS. The council alleges, that is the parents' council is alleging, that the NIA has arrested a person for recruitment for ISIS who Shafin Jaha asked on social media as to how much money will I get for becoming a recruiter. The NIA is maintaining that they have critical, factual evidence which will completely demolish this marriage. Two major points in front of us. Number one, will the court ask Hadiya to be with her husband? Will it reunite them, considering she's above the age of 18 years? She can decide for herself as per law is concerned. And number two, was this for joining the ISIS in the long run? That is something that will also come up for discussion, and the court will be speaking its mind on that. Rahul Ishwar, who has visited the family in Kerala earlier. Rahul, you have met the family. You've met Hadiya, also known as Akhila Ashokan. You made those videos, and very often you've said that while you feel that love jihad needs to be investigated, at the same time, Hadiya's voice also must be heard.
There has been a lot of forced conversions reported in Kerala. That is truth we cannot ignore. There are many instances like Nisha Fatima's case, Shuddhi's case, where it is well known, and in one case it is court proven too. But along with that, Akhila Hadiya's voice needs to be heard, because we should be doing justice to Akhila Hadiya too. I totally disagree with the choices Akhila Hadiya has made, but at the same point of time, we should be sensitive enough to hear Akhila Hadiya's version, and hopefully my plea is that she should be moved to a third place. She feels that her life is under threat. She is being beaten, tortured and kicked. So a third place residence for Akhila Hadiya and continuation of this case will be a delicate balance in this case.
But Rahul also explained to us, Hadiya told press persons at the airport that she married out of her own will. She's a Muslim. She wants to be with her husband, Shafin Jaha. So that doesn't leave the court with too many options, does it? Or will they be able, or do you feel the court should de-link the issue of marriage with the issue of terrorism and the possibility of Shafin Jaha being an ISIS recruiter?
Exactly. There are three different points. One is her conversion, which happened in 2016. One is her marriage, which is on 2016. And one is the credentials of Shafin Jahan. See, Akhila Hadiya, is not anywhere related to ISIS. Akhila Hadiya has been converted. She claims it is out of free will. Her father says it is out of coercion. That is for the Supreme Court to decide. But Akhila Hadiya's safety and Akhila Hadiya at least should be moved to a third place is a very reasonable thing we can say. She can be under the guidance of Supreme Court or Kerala State Women's Commission, but at least she needs to be given space to be moved to a third place where the case should definitely go on. Supreme Court should take a final call. But at the same point of time, Akhila Hadiya shouldn't be feeling that she is being persecuted or she is being held captive or being locked up in a particular space. So it's a very delicate case. It's a multi-sided case. Both sides have strong arguments of their own to communicate.
All right, Rahul Ishwar.